in one statement, is going to hell and coming back. You know, it was the most bloody experience in my life. It is the most fraudulent election, I believe, in history.
I would like to begin with, if you both could tell me, if you could describe what's happening in Uganda right now, the political state of your home, and what you hope for in terms of a better future.
Well, I wish I would present my country in better light, but the reality is that Uganda is a young country that continues to suffer under the yoke of a 37-year-old military dictatorship by General Yoweri Museveni, who's been in power for 37 years, having taken power violently in 1986, when I was 4 years. But besides that, I also want the world to know that Uganda is a beautiful country with resilient people, the second youngest country in the world, with young people that are determined to reshape and redefine their destiny and to free up themselves and be able to create a country that will make them proud to call it home.
Proud to call it home. You and your wife have created a voice for those who have no voice, and you are very, very determined, if not relentless and brave in the process. Barbie, can you talk to me about how you and your husband first met and how you decided to take on this adventure of being an activist with him?
I wish telling you of how we are doing with the activism was as easy as telling you the story of how we met. Yeah, we met on stage. I was an actress. I studied music, dance, and drama in secondary school for 6 years. So I had just won an accolade at the National Theatre as one of the best actors that year in our secondary school. And one of the vigilators was their professor, their teacher at university. So she had written a play and she invited me to act in that play. So when I came from my secondary school to go and do the acting at the National Theatre, I met him there.
And you were struck.
That's a big lie. Not struck. No, I was not. So I realized that he was the best at university, because during that time he was at university studying music and drama, majoring in drama. So he had also come to take part in the play. This play was titled Lady, Will You Marry Me? Mm-hmm. And he was acting as the president, and I was given a role to act as the first lady. He was Mr. Mouse, and he was Mr. Cat, and I was Lady Mouse. So it was it was a political play where the cat was the president, and this president chose to marry the mouse and made her a first lady. But you don't want to know how the story ended. This politician was a liar. He ate me.
What?
Yes.
That was not what he was. Who wrote this? Could we rewrite that now? I want to read
the professor wrote it, but we redefined the play in real life.
Yes, and you did redefine the play in real life.
It was a highly political play, very highly political, where this cat promised that the cat family was going to work really hard towards making equal opportunities for the cats and the mice, and there was never going to be this hunting of each other, and that everyone would live in harmony. And he tried with his presidency.
Yeah. Actually, that was 21 years ago.
Yes, that was 21.
Interestingly, I'm sorry to jump in, but interestingly, the speech that I gave in that play as a young boy 21 years ago, trying to ask for support from the animal kingdom, the rats and the mice, to come together, the speech that I gave in that play is more or less the speech that I gave when I was being nominated for president, promising a new country for the generation.
Well, first of all, life imitating art, art imitating life, whatever you would like to say. But I love that this story, you have redefined what it's supposed to be in a beautiful way. I think that a lot of people would know you, not a lot of people, but people know you for your activism, and that you are a politician, but they also know that you are talented in many other ways, Bobby, outside of acting. Your music has been described in a conversation I'm just having. Some would say, and I hope this is not offensive to you, but some would say you are the Bob Marley of your country, using those words. And
that is a flatter. I feel flattered.
Well, let me tell you, your friend Charlemagne was explaining all of that to me, and he was like, I would call him Bob Marley. And I think that's beautiful. I think that is apropos. And it's beautiful to see how you are seen. What did you use your music to do initially when you first started singing? Was it to change lives? Was it to speak for those who didn't have a voice? Or was it
no,
dance?
It was bad boy. It was rap. It was bad boy. It was about the girls and the music and the weed and the party.
Oh, I know those words. I know.
Yeah, and he was called the Ladies' Wine.
Oh, okay.
That was before us. Come on, did you have to say that?
Okay. The Ladies'
Wine. Yeah, it was fancy. It was all bad boy music, and I was having fun. And it was making me lots of money. I actually got very successful. But there's this one time at the height of my career when I just bought the latest Cadillac Escalade, the first one in East Africa with 24-inch spinning wheels that I'd parked outside a nightclub. When a young man my age walked up to me, pulled me out of the car and slapped the hell out of me and pulled up a gun and put it on my face and asked me why I was showing off, as if I did not know that the country had owners. Well, that was the beginning of my realization that my money and my success and my stardom did not matter if there was no freedom. The humiliation that I faced reminded me of the humiliation that I had been witnessing other people going through, and I had been deceitfully shielded from it because I was friends with the powerful and mighty. But when this happened, I realized that if there's no justice, if there's no freedom for everybody, even my pseudo freedom was a deceit, was a lie. That day, my music transformed and I started singing about justice. My music started being activism music, revolutionary music. In fact, I codenamed it edutainment, not entertainment. Yeah. So that was the transformation that I went through. And for the next 10 years, I sang about injustices and the realities until 2017, when I realized that singing about it alone was not enough. I had social capital, I had social acceptance, and many of my friends who had by that time nicknamed me the ghetto president, they pushed me to go on an even more formal platform to talk about these things. And I looked back at Bob Marley, who had been singing about things. I looked back at Muhammad Ali, I looked back at Tupac, and I was doing the same thing, but I had to take it a notch higher. That's why I say that if the parliament cannot come to the ghetto will go to the parliament. And the ghetto went to the parliament and passed the parliament. Now the ghetto wants to go to the Ugandan White House.
That's right. I love that. I think that it is fair to say that the People's President, the docuseries, chronicles the last 5 years of your life in your life. And I believe when people watch this, if they have not already watched it, they'll have come to a better understanding and great respect for the courage of the people of Uganda. Barbie, this question is for you. I wonder, as his wife, I know that you have been through a lot. Your entire family has been through so much. You were just recently arrested for no reason, Bobby. Yeah. So talk to me, Barbie, about how you keep the family stable, if you will, in terms of being strong when sometimes it seems fearful.
Okay, so they say that you don't know what to do for a situation until you're in that situation. Nobody prepared us for this. Nobody warned us about what we were going to find there. We found ourselves fighting against a bigger than life situation. So it has always been survival, survival, survival. So every day we are working towards staying alive. But in the film, you just see the camera following us, our family. There are so many untold stories of very many bold women, very many women who are not just cheerleaders, but who are at the front line. Women if that camera followed them, you'd just be amazed by their strength. Ours or mine is nothing to look at compared to what those other women have done. So I am just this image that has been put in a place where the camera focuses on what we go through. But what we go through is not even half what the women at the front line go for. So what you see is just a little bit of what happens in our country. So I just give it up to all those other women who are strong and who I get the strength from, because I get the strength from those very women who are surviving at the front line. I am in the comfort of my home, just praying that my husband will come home. But they at the front line demanding for their president, putting their lives on the line. So they give me so much strength to play my small part. And I'm just blessed that our children are strong individuals. They watched everything happen, and none of them ever seemed to be a burden to me. Every one of them took the challenge with grace, and I'm very glad that they did. And they also saw some children lose their parents in this struggle, like proper dead. They went for some of the burials, and these children are their friends. So I think they also derived the strength from these kids who had actually lost their parents, but were strong. So they felt like they can't start being childish when someone has actually lost their parent. So we pray together, we get our strength from the stronger individuals in the struggle. We have family that's there for us whenever we are not able to do some things. You know, Africa, we have big families, so we have each other to rely on. Basically it's a mixture of so many things, but the main point is us deriving the strength from those other women that are actually going through it head on.
You do it together. It's the collective. You guys are working together. I think that's beautiful. Barbie, can you talk to us about your 2021 presidential bid in Uganda, where we believe that you won the race, but it was stolen from you. And there was still so much hope, even in that theft, because the possibility of what could be is real. How do you describe that entire time while running for president in your country?
Well, in one statement, it's going to hell and coming back. You know, it was the most bloody experience in my life. It is the most fraudulent election, I believe, in history. You know, we went through an election that was more like a war. I campaigned putting on a bulletproof vest and a ballistic helmet. I watched my close friends being run over by military trucks. I watched my best friends being shot and killed. I watched young ladies being abducted by the military and the police, and up to now, we don't know where they are. I buried so many of my friends. But I also saw, like never before, a spirit of unwavering desire for freedom. I saw the rise of a generation. I saw solidarity from all corners of the earth. I saw hope. I still see hope. Hope against hope. I died and resurrected.
Lazarus. We did it. Yes. We did it. I know that I even in reading your story and talking about it with the film, the docuseries, there was an attempt to assassinate you, and they ended up killing your driver.
Yeah, many attempts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the film shows one.
Yeah, the film shows only one attempt, and that is in 2018 when my driver was shot and killed, and I survived that. But there were 3 more attempts during the presidential election when bullets were shot in my car. I don't know, I used not to have so much faith, but those survivors made me believe that there's a higher power.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah.
What do you all plan to do when you look at this film and all that you've accomplished? And that's just 5 years, and I'm sure they left out, as mentioned, so much more, but it does give you a really good idea of the battle and the struggle that is happening in Uganda. But you say there is still hope. Barbie, what does the future look like for you all? What would you say is next?
The future is very, very bright.
That's right, baby. That's right.
The
future is bright. We are going to win. We are going to be free, but I don't know how and when. But for sure, we are convinced that we are going to be free, because looking at what other people have gone through, looking at what the people of South Africa have gone through, and how they overcame it under the able leadership of Nelson Mandela, what the people in America, especially the Black people, have gone through, and looking back in the days of Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King, oppressed people have never stayed oppressed forever, and good has never lost to evil. So we are sure we are going to win. We are sure because we are on the right side of morality, the right side of history, and we believe God is on our side. Yeah.
And we know that the young people of Uganda are not going to give up.
Yeah.
They are young. Our country is one of the youngest countries in the world.
Yeah.
Over 80% of our population is below the age of 30. They are all very vigilant, and they are fighting for their freedom regardless.
Wait, so
85%.
85% are under the age of 30 in Uganda?
Yes. They've never seen another president. I mean, I am 41, and back home, I am an old man.
You would not, trust me. Wait, so here's what's interesting to me. And this is that when you are in your 20s, or right there, even in your 30s, you're very active and you're very aware. And once the people have the knowledge, they then have the power. These are all things that we hear and say, but I do understand that's a very activated age. This president, that is the only president that they've known, do you feel as if there is a contingency or a group of people that really want him in because he serves a purpose, or is he ruling with fear?
He's ruling with fear by the barrel of the gun. But yes, every dictator in the world has the people that benefit from his dictatorship. Those within the country and those outside the country. Now, those within the country are first his family and the political elite that benefit from the massive corruption. And of course, the foreign elements which benefit from the massive natural wealth that we have. Our country is rich in gold, and recently the biggest deposit in the world was discovered in Uganda. It's rich in oil, in uranium, and many others. So we believe that there are those forces that benefit from the exploitation of our resources that help General Museveni stay in power. So yes, he rules with fear, but he also rules with the support of those that are unfairly benefiting from the wealth of our country.
You went to Ukraine when the war began, or sometime during the war, and you liken Putin to the president of Uganda in terms of the way in which he rules. Was there a solidarity that you sensed with the Ukrainian people that you recognized as if it's the same with your people in Uganda?
Yes, I went to Ukraine because I believe that wrong is wrong wherever it is. And I wanted to stand with the people of Ukraine. But also, of course, it was such a risk to go there. but I wanted to also get the moral authority to tell the international community that that African lives matter too. You know, the way they stood with Ukraine when they're fighting for self-determination is the way they should stand with Africa. They should judge all dictators with the same standards. You know, if John Museveni was a European president doing that to European people, he would not be president today. Right. But on the 18th and 19th of November 2020, he massacred more than 150 innocent people, including women and children and the elderly, on camera. And this was filmed by international journalists. Only a few weeks later, he was receiving billions of money. General Museveni receives up to $1 billion annually from the United States. Now, that should not be, because it is that money that is keeping us under subjugation. We've said it numerously that we are not asking for America's help. We're not asking America to come and save us. We are only asking them to stop sponsoring our oppression.
You know, that's so well said. Don't sponsor the oppression. Don't, and by the way, don't ignore it. You mentioned that, and I think of it so often. You think of the world that we live in, and the lighter the skin, the more protected you are. And it's so unfortunate because we see it day in and day out with the companies that the U.S. chooses, the countries that the U.S. chooses to support. And this is for everyone who is listening. I really encourage you to go out and watch this docuseries. Again, it came out in October. It is on YouTube. It is on Disney Plus, which I think is interesting. And then it's also on Hulu. Good for you guys to get all of that distribution. That is huge because it can reach a lot of people.
And we are very grateful to Nat Geo for
doing Nat Geo, which is it's amazing, and it takes courage of them. Tell me your working relationship with Nat Geo. How did this film come about?
Nobody beats Nat Geo.
Well, I would say
this is not a sponsored advert, okay? Just believe me, this is a genuine response to how they have dealt with our film from the beginning, giving it all these opportunities, all this exposure.
We are indebted.
Telling our story all over the world and giving it prime space. We are indebted.
We are. And if I may mention also, believe me, there are so many oppressed people across the world. There are many painful stories. There are painful stories in the Congo that have been ongoing, many painful stories in Somalia, in Sudan, and other places. We're only honored and lucky to see that the case study in Uganda got this opportunity. And I hope that our story will be an inlet to the attention of all other stories across the world of oppressed people. We hope that this is not only a focus on our oppression. And I've always said it, that once we free up, we will always use our country as a launch pad for the freedom of all other people. So we are only grateful that we got this opportunity with Nat Geo to tell our story. And we hope our story inspires all other people, especially young people of our generation, to believe in freedom, and not only to believe, but to go out there, to risk it all, to make sure that they change the fortunes of their nations, and to see that they see a day of freedom and liberty in their lifetime.
Oh, amen. I received that. I'm activated. I'm ready. Where we going? Let's
go, girl.
I'll follow.